Welcome everybody to look at the second film in the World Noir Volume 3 box set from Radiance Films. And this film is the inspiration for the artwork on the box itself, as it is 1951's The Lost One. So this is directed by Peter Lorre in his only directorial effort. It's a crime drama, clocking in at 98 minutes long, stars Peter Lorre himself as well, who I've seen in at least 17 other films. Favourites being the likes of Casablanca, The Comedy of Terrors, Tales of Terror, The Raven from 1963, all three of which also star Vincent Price, as well as M, which is another of his German-led films. Also stars Carl John, who was in William Friedkin's Sorcerer, but unfortunately, I haven't seen any of the cast in anything else significant, unfortunately. So, yeah. But a German scientist murders his fiancée during World War II when he learns that she has been selling the results of his secret research to the enemy. So, there is plenty to respect and be engaged by when it comes to this, but unfortunately, I couldn't quite get on this film's wavelength due to the rather dark and uncompromising tone. The pacing could also be stronger, and I didn't find the narrative structure to be all that satisfying, as it wasn't. I just didn't feel like it was personally executed all that well. That said, Laurie is great in the lead role, and he does a decent enough job in the director's chair. The supporting cast is good. Um, the cinematography is on point, especially as it is influenced by American film noir from the 1940s. The characterization of our lead character is well executed. There is some solid tension, and the period production is convincing, as it is obviously set during World War II, and this was made several years after the fact. So, yeah, unfortunately, this also wasn't all that successful in Germany at the time because, understandably, the population wanted to move on from World War II. They wanted to distract themselves with other things and just get on with the process of rebuilding and reuniting their country. But yeah, you certainly see why this wasn't a success at the time. And yeah, I'm unfortunately only going to give it 3.5 out of 5, purely just because it doesn't get on its wavelength with its tone and such. Tone is a big thing for me. If I don't get along with the tone of a film, then I'm unlikely to properly enjoy it. Now, that's not to say this is a bad film at all. 3.5 is still well above average as the score goes, but yeah, just couldn't unfortunately get on the wavelength for this film. So there is the disc, and we have reversible sleeve artwork as well. So yeah, I can see why Peter Lorre would have wanted himself to be in the leading role of this while directing it, because it hardly paints him as a good person, and I can imagine any other actor being in that role being a bit cautious about whether or not they would want to be depicted as such a person. So yeah, and that means that he can be really uncompromising when it comes to his character. We've also got a high definition digital transfer of the film presented on Blu-ray for the first time with English subtitles. So I imagine it has had a German release in the past, but not with English subtitles, so that's good. In terms of the quality of the film, when it comes to the sound and the picture's okay. I would say the sound's a little bit on the overly mono side of things. It doesn't sound the best, but it's serviceable enough. And at the end of the day, it is in German, and unless you speak German, that's not going to be much of an issue. As yeah, you are going to be ultimately reading the subtitles, and you've got original uncompressed mono PCM audio on this as well. Then you've got a new commentary by critic and programmer Tony Raines from 2025, a new interview with critic and historian Pamela Hutchinson on Peter Lorre and The Lost One, also from 2025, and that is 24 minutes long. Then you got a new interview with programmer and historian Margaret Duriez on German noir, its influence on and the legacy of The Lost One from 2025, also clocking in at 19 minutes long. And then we've got a trailer and a stills gallery, while the English subtitles have been newly improved for this release. So yeah, it was well worth a watch, no doubt about that, especially since I am a fan of Peter Lorre, be it his more comedic performances or his more serious ones. I do like either side of his acting career, but personally, if I want to go for the more serious ones, I'd go for something like Casablanca or M over this, personally. But still, it's a solid enough effort, and I am glad I watched it, and I am certainly glad that I own it because it is certainly a rather unique effort. Not only because it's directed by Peter Lorre and his only directorial effort, but it's also a good look at what post World War II Germany was kind of feeling like. because like I said, it wasn't a success at the time, but you can certainly see why Peter Lorre went in the way that he did, as far as the direction and the tone and the uncompromising plot goes. So yeah, well worth a watch, but definitely the weakest out of the film noir efforts that we've had in these World Noir box sets so far, unfortunately. But that's just the way it goes. You can't always expect everything to be as great as everything else, and yeah, there is always going to be a low point in any release or any series of releases. So yeah, and that is sadly this film in of itself. But hopefully the third film picks things up for this release. But nonetheless, thank you for watching. If you have seen this film before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.